Good luck. Why don't you go, Tony?
Good afternoon, I'm Tony Williamson, Doctor of Law and Pharmacy.
I'm Ida Garcia, I'm the CFO.
James McKenzie also looks medical staff.
Sheriff Oakledge, facilities.
My name is Scott Conrad. I'm an architect on the board of directors.
I'm Dr. Kim Grainer, Chief of Surgeon.
All right, thank you. First off, I want to thank you for shortlisting Riverfront Builders for this great opportunity to present our qualifications and proposal to you for the new San Joaquin Community Healthcare Center Medical Office Building and Cancer Treatment Center. My name is Forrest Padva, and I will be your project executive. We at Riverfront Builders live by the phrase, culture eats strategy for breakfast. We focus on our culture every day by improving our company's tradition, engagement, attitude, mission, education, and recognition. By doing so, we have grown our culture to be wholesome, full of integrity, and most importantly, full of what we call teamers. Ultimately, what this means to you is that we will be devoted to delivering you with the best design and building possible by working together and taking a proactive approach to delivering this job on schedule and under budget, ultimately saving you time and money at the end of the job. Now, before we go any further, I want to go over a brief presentation overview of what we will be discussing today. First, I want to introduce our teaming partner, Auditas, as well as your new design build team. I'll then go over a brief company overview and also share with you some of our project goals. We'll then transition into project design, estimate and cost control, project management and scheduling, and finally finish off with safety and site logistics. So for your specific project, we've established an exclusive teaming agreement with Auditas, as we believe their valuable innovation of medical building design techniques will not only benefit you through the design and the construction of your new project, but will promote more efficient throughput of your clientele with less life cycle costs throughout the life of the building. Auditas is a visionary firm that maximizes all possibilities in the healthcare construction by integrating innovations in technology, design, and manufacture. In fact, they're the winners of the Kaiser Permanente Small Hospital Big Idea Design Competition for their approach that fundamentally transforms the way that healthcares are delivered. Now for your project team, again, I'm Forrest Padva, your project executive.
Javier Mederos, design manager, lead architect.
I'm Diego Quesada, your Auditas design consultant.
Melissa Zayas, pre-construction manager.
Neil Devlin, project manager.
Nick Stako, general superintendent.
On behalf of all of us, we're very passionate about getting this job, and we really want to start working with you right now. Now for a brief company overview. Riverfront Builders was incorporated in 1947 in Sacramento, California, where our headquarters remains. We have 15 satellite offices located throughout the western United States and have been ranked as a premier healthcare builder in this region. One key contributor to this premier rank is our company is 100% employee owned. This means that we take pride in what we do because it reflects on all of us, not just the CEO or owner at the top of the chain. We currently have 85 DBI professionals as well as 70 lead AP employees. Now the services that we offer are in-house architectural and structural design. Since we have a teaming agreement with Auditas, our in-house architects will work collaboratively, hand in hand with Auditas, to come up with the most efficient and innovative design possible. We also self-perform concrete and finished carpentry and are signatory to these respective unions. Now as you can see from the pie chart, 35% of our work comes from medical buildings, similar to yours. We absolutely love building medical buildings because we know it's not just going to benefit the owner, but it's going to provide health to the whole community. This is why we feel this project is an absolute go project for us. We cannot wait to get started. These are some notable accomplishments of successful past projects that we've done in collaboration with Auditas, in which both Javier and Diego came up with a superior design. Also like to mention that both these projects were delivered under budget and on schedule. Now for your project, Riverfront Builders as a design builder will lead the design and the construction. Our teaming agreement with Auditas will provide for superior design collaboration and space planning. We also value specialty sub-consultants such as civil engineering and landscape. Now on the construction side of things, we utilize design build and design assist subcontractors such as mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and structural steel, which we've already brought on as part of our proposal to you to have a more seamless transition from design to construction. Now before we go to your design, I just want to go over some project goals that we have for your project.
Before you go into project goals, I'm not confused. You've got Riverfront Builders has in-house architects and engineers, and we have Auditas. So isn't there just redundant fee stacking there? Is there a premium associated with that teaming agreement?
Not necessarily. We have a teaming agreement with Auditas to provide help with our architects, to provide for superior design collaboration and space planning. So we're utilizing their ARP platform, which Diego will speak about in his presentation, and so you'll be able to understand it further more. So our goals are to deliver your project on time and within schedule. But most importantly, we want to make you happy and make sure that all your requirements are met. To do this, we will set up a shared governance so that all parties are on the same page and we reach the intended design that you desire. We'll have open communication so the team will develop trust and share important ideas. We encourage collaboration so that decisions can be made quicker and any issues can be identified and dealt with before they become an even larger problem. And we will actively control the project delivery to make sure that these goals are met and that you are pleased with the end result. So with that said, I'd like to pass it on to Javier and Diego as they will unveil a new design for your new medical office building and cancer treatment center.
Thank you, Forrest. So like Forrest mentioned, our partnership with Aditas and Riverfront Builders will enable us to create a building that will lower your costs for construction. We can help lower your your operational costs, and therefore have low maintenance costs, all with increasing patient throughput for your building. Now at Aditas, we are designers, architects, builders, microchip engineers. We're a large group of people looking for ways to quantify the world around us and improve in which our surroundings. Now we have created our evidence-driven design platform. This platform has allowed us to look at the way similar facilities are operated and understand how we can maximize the spaces and understand how patients and staff move through them in order to create a better flow plan within the building. So our evidence was gathered over our past experience over 20 years, and we used nurses, patients, doctors, staff, space planners in order to understand how can we improve this area. Now we understand that building your building is only a tiny fraction of the overall cost of maintaining and operating your building over the useful lifetime of the project. So by making smart decisions on the products and the building materials that we're utilizing, we can reduce the pie chart overall by, for example, making the distinction between low upfront cost materials but that have a higher maintenance cost versus using higher upfront materials but with the lower operational costs. Now, our Aditas realization platform, which is another in-house platform design, has helped us understand the way in which we can maximize throughput for patients. Usually what we see is on typical imaging rooms for similar medical office buildings is we have an imaging room where a patient is being assessed by a technician for about 10 to 12 minutes while the machine is sitting idle. By simply adding an adjacent space to that whole area where one technician can assess one patient while another technician is actually using the machine, we can reduce the idle time for that machine, which is we understand how expensive it is. And also we can potentially increase the patient throughput for that space by as much as 50%. There's lots of ideas that we're trying to incorporate by looking at the way the flow can move through the building and by analyzing how we can create a better delivery. Now, I'm pretty sure you're excited to see what we came up with. Why don't you start?
So before I unveil our design, I'd like to thank the board for having us here. As well as I'd like to mention that one key factor that makes Riverfront Builders the ideal company for your project is that when we design a building, especially one that incorporates health, we design it to respect and reflect the spirit of the place and the people that inhabit it. We believe that the environment can contribute to healing if the people have a sense of comfort and familiarity as they enter the site and the interior spaces.
Kind of following up on that, that part of, are you going to incorporate sort of, patients that have different ethnicities down there? Are you going to address that so they feel comfortable, it's kind of recognizable maybe from their own cultural background?
Definitely. What we like to do by incorporating that is actually the interior materials that we will be using throughout the spaces will not only be different in contrast with each other, but it would actually invoke the different ethnicities that may be entering the space, so that each one of them may have a direct contact and maybe relation with them, so that everyone would be able to have a sense of healing inside of them. So without further ado, I'm very excited to show to you your new MOB and Health and Cancer Center. Wow. So, one thing that I'd like to mention is that we've actually conducted a daylight autonomy analysis for this project. Considering that Bakersfield has a lot and has very extensive heat during the summers and throughout the year, we felt that the daylight autonomy analysis will be able to provide us a fenestration to lay out all the windows. This, and also the design of our building, will be able to maximize the natural daylight into the building while minimizing the heat gain. We've also incorporated, as you may see, a curtain wall system at the main entry, which is a primary and single entry point for all your patients. We've also included a private, secured entrance for your physicians, so that when they may be called or even having to enter the building, they'll have direct access into the site. Although I like to keep it in this image and have it viewed more, why don't we move on forward to some enlarged views here. It's great, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm just very excited about this building, very passionate. A healing and prayer garden, which Diego will talk to you about a little bit more, will be incorporated right along and adjacent to the building. As you may notice, we try to create a right-hand drop-off at the main entrance by also incorporating a canopy that will provide the people through all the elements, even though they may be minimal in the rain, but also daylight itself, to be able to have easy access into the space. Another great view from the prayer garden. Here you will see your adjacent structure that's attached. Based on your addendum, we've actually incorporated the new location for the linear accelerators, as well as the mechanical yard and the pneumatic tubing system adjacent to your building at the south side, where you acquired your new property. The actual construction of that that structure is consistent of cast-in-place concrete, which you may be able to see a little bit more in the floor plans as we move forward. One thing I'd like to mention is that there's two main entrances. For your facility, people will have direct access into the mechanical yard to have immediate approach to whatever the needs may be. Here I'd like to mention, although the other renderings show a clear and straight finish, the panels, metal insulated panels that we will be constructing for your building and the shell, based on also a metal stud frame, can also incorporate reveals, will provide another distinctive view for your facility. Now that you've seen the building, why don't we move over to the site plan?
Before we leave the building, I really appreciate your enthusiasm for the design work, but I tell you, as a resident architect, I'm not so excited about the extent of glass or the lack thereof to induce natural light into the building. It's a more prison-esque, I was expecting. So my question is can we add more glass and still maintain the same GMP that you want?
Here's one of the things that I do have incorporated into our presentation is there is an innovative concept with the glass that we've already incorporated to maximize the natural daylight, not only by its natural rays, by also reflecting the daylight into the space, not only into the immediate entry, but beyond an interior wall. So one of the other things based on the site plan is that we wanted, based on your existing location of your facilities, we wanted to create a courtyard campus environment. By providing the building at the east side of the building, of your property, we actually incorporate our parking structure, our parking requirements that exceed the number of parkings that you have emphasized. At the same time, incorporating the tree line as you have at your adjacent buildings. This right here will be able to provide, the trees will be able to provide shading, and at the same time, create a distinctive location of how the pedestrians get from the site into your building. Moving in from the site plan, I'd like to examine these floor plans a little bit with the focus primarily on the first floor. As you may notice, the 3 linear accelerators are located at the structure where I mentioned. The mechanical yard is directly has direct access from the exterior, with the pneumatic tubing housing being located in between the 3 linear accelerators. The 2 stair enclosures provide direct and immediate access through all your departments creating a more easy flow for all of your users as well as your staff members. Your second floor, we not only met your square footage requirements, but we were able to exceed them by providing one direct hallway to these stair enclosures, and also providing one main common area, therefore maximizing all of your square footage for your departmental needs. The third floor has the same concept, and the fourth floor, as you mentioned, your subleaser will be able to utilize all of these apartments, and in the gray area shaded up above on the north side is your future tenant expansion for any future expansions that you may have. Therefore, allowing not only direct access into the common areas, but we're also providing a circular ambient area space directly from the stage. Here are some of your building systems, and I'd like to, if you like, I'd like to go into more detail right after our presentation.
Quick question on your solar. Did you guys do an analysis to show what the payback is?
We did, and if at the end of our presentation, if you like, I'd like to show you some of the slides that would actually be the payback, and also there's some federal grants that you may be able to qualify for that will have a better return for your money.
Okay.
Speaking about BIM, why don't we move over to Diego?
Thank you. So another way in which we are reducing costs and having smart decisions is by utilizing BIM model. We are requiring all of our major subcontractors come to utilize BIM modeling in order to address possible problems that we may have as we move on with the design of the project. We will have bi-weekly meetings with all the major subcontractors in order to address the possible clashes in between the systems, as we already have an understanding what the main lines will be throughout the building. And this would all be done using Autodesk Navisworks. Now, on the sustainability part of your building, we are very confident we can achieve LEED Silver certification. Most of the points are in the energy and atmosphere section, as we are utilizing very efficient lighting throughout the interiors, and we understand the facing of the building, since we have west and east, and then the location in Bakersfield. By using the windows, the high efficiency lighting, we can achieve this point. We're also utilizing a white reflective roof membrane on the top, which will reduce costs as much as 14% less on heating and cooling costs on the top, in fact. And we're also incorporating low flow toilets and water faucets, as we understand how important it is, the water as an element in your building. When looking at the feature benefit analysis of the building, I want to focus on the prayer garden, like you mentioned. When looking at the site, we noticed there was a lack of green spaces for the community. When we wanted to incorporate a healing environment, state-of-the-art building, we wanted to incorporate a calmer, quieter space right as you come into the building. We added a couple of benches, and it's a space in which a person can come in, sit down before the treatment, come out as we have the patient drop-off and also the adjacent entry for the nurse staff. So they can take a quick minute to relax. Now, this would all be tree-lined, but we don't have them right here not to cover the view.
So, as you see your building once again, I'd like to mention that as we sit down with you through the design development phase and actually lay out these interior spaces and obtain your feedback, incorporate ARP's concept, we are very confident that we will be able to provide you a very efficient, durable building. At the same time, I'd like to finish by saying that although we are very happy and very excited to construct this state-of-the-art building, I am very privileged and proud to be able to give back to the hospital that helped my father and my grandfather in his final days, and at the same time be able to contribute back to my previous community where my family and current friends reside. So sorry about the little emotional part. You know, as architects, we feel very passionate about things, and sometimes we wear it in our sleeves very well. But I'd like to pass it over to Alyssa to discuss things as primarily the cost for your project.
Thanks, Javier. Now that Javier and Diego have introduced you to your project design, I would like to take this opportunity to explain how we as a team have allocated the cost for your new medical office building. And what I mean by allocating your costs as a team is simply that I sit with the designers throughout the design process and explain to them what type of cost impact a certain design feature will have on the project budget. This allows us to explore many options in the design while keeping the budget realistic. We at Riverfront Builders have coined this process designing to target budget. Another element to our designing to target budget process is a shopping list that we create for you, the owner. This will provide you an opportunity to pick and choose exactly where you would like your money to be spent. This list will provide you value engineering suggestions as well as options to upgrade any finishes or building systems that you may desire. One we are particularly excited about that Diego touched on a little earlier is the opportunity to incorporate photovoltaic panels into your project. Now into the details. We are proposing a schematic guaranteed maximum price at $19.1 million. I would like you to keep in mind that this guaranteed maximum price includes 8% contingency, as well as the cost for LEED Silver certification and any design, features, and specifications that were required in your request for proposal. Take a quick look at the cost breakdown of your building. As you can see here, the MEP cost breakout is the largest part of your project budget. This includes the cost for the VAV system that we have designed for this project, as well as cost-saving features such as shared plumbing walls and low-flow fixtures. Secondary, in the interior build-out cost, we have incorporated all space planning efficiencies that Diego touched on a little earlier. When faced with regulatory deadlines, we know that sometimes owners are required to quickly determine project budgets to secure proper funding. We at Riverfront Builders typically provide our clients with monthly updated cash flow. As you can see here, this is an example of a cash flow that we will provide you monthly. This will be a tool for you to project what draws will be required throughout the life of your project. Life cycle cost analysis. This is a process of evaluating a building's economic performance over its entire life cycle. This will balance initial monetary investments with the long-term expenses of owning and operating a medical office building. When incorporating Diego's expertise in the Auditas realization platform, we're able to effectively project what life cycles will be for your systems in your building. As you can see here, this is the life cycle cost analysis that we ran when selecting the VAV system. In the green shows you its payback period over the years of owning and operating your building. Lastly, I would like you to know that we typically provide our clients with updated cost estimates at the design development phase, 50% construction document phase, and 100% construction document phase. With that said, I'm going to pass it over to our project manager, Neil, and Superintendent Nick, so they can talk to you more about the schedule, site logistics, and safety for your project.
Before we move on to that, I see in your proposal that you offered us an IGMP. I think our RFP asked for a GMP. Can you explain the difference and tell us why?
We are offering a guaranteed maximum price, and that I is probably a typo. Sorry about that.
Well, good afternoon. Once again, my name is Neil Devlin, and I would love to be your project manager on the San Joaquin Community Hospital Medical Office Building and Cancer Treatment Center. Now this means I'll ensure an integrated progression throughout the different phases of the project, orchestrating the design, pre-construction, and construction into a single concerted effort. Choosing design build gives us the advantage of getting Oshpod, the City of Bakersfield, and the San Joaquin Community Hospital on board early and involved throughout the growth of the project. With the use of incremental design and permitting packages, Riverfront Builders has increased construction speed by 12% and overall project delivery by 33%. Now this means a shorter project cycle time, which will allow the San Joaquin Community Hospital to benefit from lower costs and an earlier return on investment. Now before I get into the schedule, Nick and I are going to discuss what separates Riverfront Builders from the competition, and that is our attention to detail. Throughout the design and pre-construction processes, quality assurance measures are carefully taken. Examples being a document review program, developing a test scope and schedule, and the active involvement of my lead superintendent. And with that being said, Nick will now take over and talk about how we plan on assuring quality once our boots hit the ground.
Thanks, Neil. Excuse me. I'm always the first one on site, and I'm always the last one to leave, making sure that we maximize productivity throughout the day. Now, our subcontractors will be making their own schedules through their understanding of what needs to be accomplished before their work begins and what needs to be accomplished of themselves. As an ongoing process, I'll prepare 3-week look-ahead schedules and review subcontractor coordinations at weekly meetings. Also, I'll be conducting weekly progress reports and collaborating with Neil, so we will have your schedule up to date and on track. Our high quality of work cannot be achieved without enforcing safety measures. Here at Riverfront, we take pride in what we build, and we believe that safety is a high priority.
Our safety record is 3.9 million man-hours free from accident or injury, which has contributed to our outstanding EMR of 0.56. All foremen, as well as myself, are safety-trained supervisors, and we tend to implement pre-tasks, site-specific safety meetings, and job hazard analyses, among many others. Here at Riverfront, we take pride in what we build, and we believe that our quality work will leave a lasting impression. I've developed a quality plan for your project, which includes pre-installation meetings, first work inspections, and mock-ups, among others. We also will be utilizing a program called PlanGrid, which will enhance the quality of the project. We will be utilizing PlanGrid as an electronic documentation punch list, and upon completion of your project, we will compile all the as-built drawings and O&M manuals and provide that to you. And with that being said, I'd like to hand back over to Neil, where he'll explain to you how our project management plan fits in your construction schedule.
Now, the schedule we created facilitates the design-build process. This is where we map out how to best deliver the San Joaquin Community Hospital, a medical office building with collaborative input from our entire project team. Now, let's take a walk through our schedule and see how we plan on doing this and how our project management plan fits into that schedule. Now, in the schematic phase of the design is when we establish clear lines of accountability, responsibility, and a conflict resolution procedure. So we also identify fast-track bid packages and long lead items. Another important facet we want to bring on early in the design is a clearly defined risk register, promoting a collaborative approach for mitigating risks before they arise and solving risk issues if they do arise. Now, after the schematic phase, we transition into design development. This is where we begin BIM coordination, incorporate owner review periods, and a sequence permitting schedule, which is why we broke up the design development into 3 packages. In doing so, we can speed up the review and approval process, which then fast-tracks the bid packages and long lead items. Now, moving on to buyout and procurement, we can see the 3 packages help us be able to have receive package 1 site work and core and shell approval, begin buying out this earthwork and procuring structural steel, all while the interior fit out is still being finalized. Sure. We are doing it during the plan check. The only exception to that was when we're procuring the structural steel, which we did it 10 days before the review was finished, because we incorporated the phase plan review and we felt confident with our review periods that we'd be able to receive approval. Yes.
Question for the ASPOT plan for these, are you going to just give them traditional drawings, or are you going to give them supplemental 3D models that will aid them in understanding the design better?
Well, it depends on what phase of the design that we are at. If we are in the design development phase, we'd be more than happy to keep you up to date on the BIM coordination, as that is a vital part of your building.
I'm talking about
Yeah, while we actually integrate all of these interiors and design development phases, we were giving them conceptual drawings. Now, if it would help them and aid them into the review process, we are more than happy to give them what we have at the current moment, which we would have to express to them that it is not completely defined and finished.
That's why we have division of labor here at Riverfront Buildings. Okay, now moving on to construction, we can see from the sequence packages that help keep a clean project, one with a good workflow throughout the different phases of construction and scopes of work. Now, throughout construction, there will be weekly progress meetings with key subcontractors, owner agency reps, and our design build team. Now, these meetings will document a summary of work in progress and our critical issue tracking log. And these reports will be sent out within 24 hours. Now, in the spirit of fostering a lasting relationship with the San Joaquin Community Hospital, Riverfront Builders takes a serious approach to closing out a facility. Now that the project has reached its maturity, it's a great chance for client relationship building based on performance, not on hot air. And here we have a critical path schedule. We can see that it runs through the schematic design, both the site work and core and shell design and approval process, which then enables the procurement phase and leads into construction, all which allows a final acceptance date of January 15th, 2015, 2 weeks ahead of schedule. And with that being said, I'll let Nick take over and talk some more about site logistics. Thank you, Neil.
First off, I'd like to take you to Bakersfield. key to developing public and construction safety is having a well-developed site logistics plan. As you may see in brown and highlighted around the edges with green is the fencing, which would be contained as our construction area. We have designated adjacent streets, K Street, 28th Street, and Chester Avenue. Now we have located utilities right here for pink, and then the red, orange, and green. The pink will be, as you requested, your pneumatic tube tie-in, and then the red, the utility tie-in, your stormwater drain tie-in, and your sanitary sewer. The site will be laid down with an aggregate base and asphalt to prevent vehicles from off-hauling debris on the public roads. And with that being said, I'd like to take it over to the haul route through the site. We have analyzed the traffic in downtown Bakersfield, and we have realized that diverting haul routes on K Street would have a minimal impact on existing traffic. Haul routes or trucks will exit off Highway 178, take 28th Street all the way down to the left at K Street, entering the site and checking at the field office. From this point, they will continue over and off-haul the materials at the material laydown area and exit the site through Gate B. Moving right along to our material laydown and staging area. We have designated subcontractor storage areas adjacent to the building, as well as material laydown and staging. Designated in this blue area will be our man lift. We understand that our architects and our project management team have collaborated, and the building is 63 feet tall, so we will be utilizing the man lift for equipment access materials. Let's move on to our, if you ever need to contact Neil or myself, we'll be located on site at the field office. This also will be the main headquarters for design build meetings, and we strongly encourage your input throughout the whole process. Now, Riverfront Builders will be providing and maintaining a shaded break area for employees, as well as toilets and hand eye wash stations. With that being said, I'd like to show you where we have designated parking. Parking is on the northeast corner of the site, as well as some on the west side for employee parking and equipment. And with that being said, I'd like to hand it back over to Forrest.
Thank you, Nick. Again, I want to thank you for this great opportunity to present you with the best design and building possible. Now, while making your decision for the design builder for your project, I want you to think about the key differentiators of Riverfront Builders. Our difference is that we understand that it's not what we are building, but that it's who we are and how we build that makes all the difference. We are confident that we will provide you with the best design and building possible, and that our collaboration with Aditas will benefit you throughout the life of the building. We look forward to working with you, and if you have any more questions, we're more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Quick question. Explain to me how you validate, first of all, validate our program. You know, that's how we convey our business to you. And, you know, using BIM, and also how that program, how you link it directly to the actual space.
So, what we like to do in our, especially during the design development, right now at schematic design, we focus primarily on the envelope of the project. Once we move into the interior spaces and actually define all of the programming needs, as well as emphasizing and providing you the ARP concept, we'll be able to integrate the BIM as well with our consultants, the MEP, fire, sprinkler, and alarm systems, to be able to collaborate and be able to give you a more efficient project. One of the things that I like to mention and show you is through our BIM process, not only do we create and control the clashes, but for instance in the bottom picture here, we are able, as you may see here, there was no clashes during the design phase of the building. But at the same time, there was no access through all these spaces. By utilizing the BIM, we actually enhance not only the access, but at the same time, the opportunity for your facility manager to be able to walk through these spaces, similar to your mechanical yard, where now in the real life, the facilities manager and any other people walking into that space are able to maximize their efficiency in their use while trying to minimize the impact that the services need.
Can you clarify, you mentioned that first you do the building envelope and I saw
Correct.
the floor plate.
Right.
Why not do
The-
the program first and then have the envelope revolve around the space?
The envelope was very specific on the square footage based on the total size of the building. So based on the additional information as far as your departments and the square footage that we feel that are more ideal for those departments, we are able to space plan the interior spaces, therefore moving on to the design development and actually laying out those spaces more appropriately. Now at the same time, given the fact that we are $2 million under budget, once we collaborate with you, and at the same time knowing the constraints of the site, we are able to adjust some of those exterior footprint into a certain phase where we would maximize the interior space, therefore making those slight adjustments to the current structural and envelope bin coordination that we have.
Talked a minute ago about the MEP
Definitely.
coordination work. What do you recommend from a selection process standpoint for MEP and how do you contract?
We've actually already contracted with MEP design build contractors as part of the proposal to you. So they've already included as part of your project. And you're talking about how we're going to contract with them. It's basically going through the same process that we're going right now, pre-qualifying them, going through the interview process based on their past experience with safety, insurance, and all those aspects. And we go ahead and choose the best three that we feel like, shortlist them, see their work, and go from there. And we can recommend the best one to you.
Can you, what about the box?
Sorry?
What about the box? You know, as part of the RFI process, we clarify those environmental wackos that threaten to sue against our board because of the impact of the environment, impact of the habitat of the tip box.
Mhm.
How do you have that incorporated into the plan?
Well, we have temporary site fencing that we feel that can keep out any unwanted visitors, both people and wildlife. As we do know, we live in California and we are held a little bit more accountable here in this state.
Good, thank you.
Your base headquarters is in Sacramento, correct? How much work have you done in Bakersfield? What's your subcontractor relationship on?
We've maintained a lot of relationships throughout the Central Valley for this Sacramento division. So we've already contracted, as I mentioned, with design build contractors, and we've worked with a lot of them in the past on many past projects throughout the Central Valley.
One really quick question is all that.
I'm looking at your estimate, and you have 8% contract contingency. Can you guys explain what that's for?
Yeah, that's, we have 8% contingency in the budget right now because we're at a schematic design phase. So as the design becomes more developed and we move into design development and construction documents, that contingency will steadily decrease. And when we lock in a final GMP at 90% construction documents, that contingency will be at 3%. For construction, yes.
Really, really quick question. Okay, that's it.